Hey guys, T-Bull here. Today I got a game in the Fubuki. We haven't featured this ship on the channel for a while. Hellsinger on the screen here. Once again, I always say with these Halloween commanders, I would assume they're coming back next Halloween. We'll find out. But if you don't have him, it's basically my Tanaka build. But with the torpedo reload boost in slot 3, we switched that out for the twist and track. So that's the closest you can get to that build. Here we got a match on the map, Haven. And as this match goes on, we're going to kind of demonstrate how I would recommend using the enemy cap. A lot of people, they get on the enemy cap, then they decide, I either have to cap this base or I'm going to die. And that's, once in a while, capping the enemy base is a good play. But usually you want to get on the enemy cap to pressure them and then force them to react. So we'll see that in action here. But early on here, we got a cruiser and a battleship that spawn over here. I'm going to move forward, try and spot these guys, and see what's going on over here. Here we check the roster quick. You always want to check the roster on the enemy team to see what they got. Here we have one Icarus. They also have a Dallas, which is a pretty dangerous ship for these destroyers. But you kind of want to take the time. I usually do it right before the match starts, between when you load in and when the timer actually counts down. Just take a rundown, see which ships you stack up against favorably, which ones you need to kind of avoid. Get some torps down on the Dallas. Those are mainly just zoning torps to put pressure on these people. The Dallas is taking incoming fire. You can see he's already been turned off because that Kirov should last pretty long, just sitting there broadside in the open. But the Dallas, he's probably not going to take those torps, but we got a very quick torpedo launcher reload on this one. It's about a minute long, so you can spit those torps out. Try and launch the torps on reload. If they're there just to kind of be zoning torps, making a certain area of the map more dangerous, that's fine. You don't have to hit every salvo, but the more you get out there, the better the situation. You don't want to launch them just willy-nilly if you're expecting a pretty good launch in the near future, but there's no reason to hold on to them. You're just kind of cutting down your torpedo DPM, which is a huge part of the Japanese destroyer damage output. Dallas is being really aggressive here. Yeah, they killed that Kirov that was just basically committing suicide, but now they're pushing in and we've become undetected. So we're kind of out of sight, out of mind. He probably thinks we're running away from him. Get some torps down there. We only got 2 of the 3 torpedoes down. So I'm looking around trying to get one more juicy target. I usually try and launch all my torps at the same time so they're all available to launch together. That's why I'm looking around as quick as possible. If I can get another quick launch off, cool. If not, I'll probably just hold on to the salvo till the other 2 torps are... he gone! Until the other 2 torps are ready to go. But yeah, that Dallas, once we disengaged there, he kind of forgot about us, and we blasted him right out of the water. So now we got the Queen Elizabeth also pushing forward. You can see we still have the 1 torp ready to go. I'm being a little careful here because this other cruiser's sitting there. We don't want to get too close to them. You got to be very careful about cruisers. Not only can their guns rip you to shreds as a destroyer, but they're going to have sonar, some of them are going to have radar, and getting too close to them usually is going to be the end of you. We did get the 1 down, and you can see we only had about a 5-second gap between that first salvo and then the next 2 coming out of there. So see what happens with the Queen Elizabeth there. But now we're kind of analyzing the map here. We've kind of slowed their very aggressive push. Both teams on the northern half of the map only had 3 ships deployed. They killed one of ours very quickly, and then we're aggressively pushing into our base, trying to probably get a quick win. But we've now dinged up... We killed the Dallas, we've dinged up the Queen Elizabeth, and had those torps actually been launched simultaneously, how I normally like to do, that would have been the second dev strike of the game. So basically full health and no health, that Queen Elizabeth. And now we looking on the map here, we do see an opportunity to pressure the base. And I'm keeping an eye on ships here, because basically what the red team's doing, they're fully committed to the southeast portion of the map. There's no scoring opportunities down there. I mean, there's no, from a map control standpoint, that's not a very strong position. But they're not paying attention to the base. The one ship that is this Aoba that's coming back here. He's kind of disengaged just because we slaughtered his flank. So he's kind of probably coming back here either to find me specifically or to just kind of regroup with the rest of the red team. Get another salvo off on him, and now we're trying to keep him out of the blue ring. We don't want to get detected here. We are kind of in a fairly dangerous position, being pinched between, different portions of the red team. You don't want to, as a destroyer, you don't want to typically be in the middle of the red team, because if you get spotted there, you're going to have a lot of guns firing at you, and it's very easy to get deleted pretty quickly. There we do finish off the flank. We've completely wiped that one out now. And now we do have the opportunity to get on the base. This is something I talk about a lot on this channel, but we're getting on the base to, number one, increase the score of our team in terms of points, because what happens is we get on there, we'll continue to get our 2 points every 5 seconds. They will not be getting those points. So, if they go up a ship or, they go up in the score, this is going to help mitigate their opportunity to win on points. Number two, though, it forces them to react. Basically, what you're saying to the red team when you get on this cap is, I'm about to win the game. You need to do something about it. Sometimes they won't. A lot of players in this game don't care about winning, or they're not aware enough of what's going on in their surroundings to even recognize that someone's on the cap. They won't react. And in that case, you just kick back, relax, wait there for 3 minutes, and you got another win in your portfolio. But usually, if you're playing semi-competent players or better, they will come back. And I'm fine with this plane spotting me, by the way. I'm actually kind of trying to shoot it down. But, the shots are, or the potential shots coming at us are long enough that we could probably dodge them. Not that worried about it. But again, we're just kind of taking control of what the red team's gameplay options are. Previously, they were kind of involved in this stalemate fight, the main fight of the match. The majority of both teams were congregated on the western flank, and they were just going to duke it out over there. Now we're saying to them, you don't have that option anymore. You're going to lose the game unless you come respond to us. They're forced to turn around, and I believe, 2 or 3, I believe all these ships that are left alive come back to try and reset the base. We're going to keep putting down torps to make it more difficult for them to do that. But the mentality we have at this point in time is we're going to stay on here, keep getting those 2 points every 5 seconds, as long as it's not dangerous for us to do so. And I'd like to ideally scoot forward to the northwest here, because these guys are coming back, and if we do that without getting detected, then we can squirt some of these torps right up into their broadsides and potentially do some major damage that way. But at no point in time does it cross my mind, I gotta stay on here. If they kill me, then fine, but this is the only way we can win this game. No, I do not have it in my mind to actually capture this base. I'm forcing their hand. If they let me capture it, fine. We'll go on with our lives. But that's not the play. That's not the intention of this play. You see, they've all turned around. They've abandoned what they thought their best option was previously. Now they're forced to deal with me. So get that mentality in your mind. I see so many games thrown, usually by destroyers who get on the base and then they get rushed by the people coming back to defend the base, and for some reason they just never get off the base and they get wiped out. And then that causes all sorts of problems. So we've left the base. They're still coming back here to look for me now. And now we've kind of got them eating out of our hand. We got a torp in on that Aoba coming in. And we're just waiting for the next reload, seeing which one of these ships do we want to blast into oblivion. Take a look at the score. Yeah, we got 2 battleships. They have 2 cruisers, so we should have a few more points just due to that imbalanced nature of the ship values. But because we were on that base for a minute and a half, 2 minutes, whatever it was, we got a buffer zone now with the score. We can potentially lose another ship, still maintain that lead, and that'll increase our odds substantially. So we forced their hand, we increased our lead. That's what you're trying to do by getting on the base. Again, if they happen to let you win by sitting on the base, fine. They don't care about winning, we'll go ahead and take the win. But that's not the play. Aoba gets smoked. Yeah. So that was potentially the 3rd dev strike had the launch on the Queen Elizabeth not been misaligned in terms of the torpedo launchers, would have been the third Death Strike. But that's neither here nor there. You know, that's... Yeah, we're getting torpedo damage, but that's not really the main goal here. Basically, we've been just controlling this game through our map control and through, you know, the game awareness. There goes the Icarus. That was the one ship that didn't come back to fight me. Probably the one ship that was best equipped to do that. If the Icarus and the Aoba had come back and these two had stayed over here, maybe they would have had more success. But at this point in time, they're in a bit of a bind. They got this Bayern who we're trying to take some shots at. I'm getting pretty low here. This is still quite throwable at this point in time. You know, you don't want to lose your last destroyer. You know, having a destroyer when your enemies don't is a huge advantage. But I'm also not that comfortable letting my team try and handle this because these guys have been sitting in the back, launching long-range shots the entire time. Those type of players usually aren't the ones you want to have put your fate, your game's fate in their hands. So ideally I want to continue to stay alive here. Bayern, you know, at this point in time we're just kind of running out the clock, but the Laga is close to us. I should be more aggressively getting away from these ships. We really have no point. I'm probably just going for the Kraken at this point in time, now that I think about it. That's exactly what I'm doing. But in terms of winning the game, you know, just sail off into the sunset. Set course for due north, fire up the accelerator all the way, and then just go take a piss or do whatever you need to do. That's a problem right there. What you don't want to do is ground with a Laga closing in on you. I don't have smokes, I don't have speed boost, so this is very dangerous. Watching this back now, I'm like, oh man, this is Throw City in the making. But the Laga, we kind of launched those torps at him, I believe. He slows down. That's him slowing down. I don't know if he suspected there's torps coming or what, but that gives us just enough time to get out of here. And usually, if you're playing a lot of destroyers, but you're not watching the map for the, you know, the majority of the time, or let me rephrase that, when you're navigating, you should be watching the map consistently to make sure these ships aren't keep getting into that blue circle. The blue ring on the map is your detection ring. When the red ships get in there with a line of sight at you, that's when you're spotted. So ignore the pretty background on the screen. The map is what's going on here. We just got to sail in a direction that isn't going to allow these ships to get into the blue ring. Then we can just fool around, keep launching these torps, trying to get our Kraken. But the minute we get detected, that Laga can shred us, and then that can cause a lot of problems. You know, these two ships, they could potentially kill the ships on my team, and then this is a throw, and we don't want to have any throw situations, especially not in videos that we're posting on this channel. The last thing I want to point out is at no point in time, I mean, you can make the argument now, we're kind of doing it, but at no point in time do we try and squeeze through the enemy lines and then proceed to torp the enemy battleships left and right. That's usually what Japanese destroyers try and do. They think, wow, I can get a lot of damage with these things. Battleships can't dodge these torps very well. Let's just go to town on these guys. And those are the destroyers that are going to be not contributing to the actual win of the game, and then they're going to just pile up loss after loss, even though they're going to have high damage games from time to time when they get lucky. But we basically spawned on the northeast side of the map. We cleared the northeast side of the map. We pressured their base, forced them to turn around, and then we've been picking them off one by one and, you know, supporting our team that way. So really, this Fubuki, if you look at this game, we've been in the driver's seat for the entirety of this match. I mean, I guess the red team kind of forced us to move the way we moved in the first 3 or 4 minutes. You know, they were pushing aggressively into us, so we kind of had to disengage from that. But we didn't completely leave the situation. We still piled on torps in their direction, blew them all up, and then we basically dictated the flow of the game from that point in time. So that's the power of the destroyer in capture the base mode. The power does not lie in torping battleship, torping battleship, torping battleship. That's worthless. These battleships that sit in the back, yeah, they got a lot of points, yeah, they got a lot of HP, but in terms of winning the game, usually they're not that consequential. They're usually the least consequential ships in the game. Cruisers, high DPM, get rid of them. destroyers, they can control the flow of the game. Domination mode, capture the base, doesn't matter. So the destroyers still continue to be the highest priority targets, then cruisers, then battleships. Anyway, we'll trim it there. Hopefully you guys did enjoy that one. If you did, please hit the thumbs up. New to the channel, consider subscribing. Lots of World of Warships coming all the time. Questions, comments, leave below. I'd love to hear from you guys. And we'll see y'all later. All right, peace.